Would anybody like to help me define what a backup is, and maybe what the difference is between that and the other things?
Backup to me is a mirror image of your working drive on a daily basis, so as something goes down, you don't waste but a few minutes pulling that back and being right back up on top of it. Especially important if you have expensive musicians in the room or expensive talent in the room. That to me is a backup. We do it two ways. We have incremental and tape, so we feel like we're pretty well covered. Contrasted with an archive, I think what we said earlier is that the biggest difference is in documentation. Certainly an archive, you'd really want to error check, clean up titling, get rid of files that aren't pertinent or that are incorrect, like an incorrect session, that you wouldn't want anybody ever to pull up. But the biggest difference is in really keeping track of what you're delivering in an archive, right? What you're archiving, who's playing, when it was done, the descriptive metadata is added to this process and becomes your archive.
Are those backups automatic?
At our place they are, yeah.
Good.
So, based on that description, how many of you folks are doing backups compared to archiving your data? How many are doing backups? How many are prepping all of their stuff for archive and later delivery? Okay, so you both. Yeah, so you do go through and call all of your files. And, are you including like data files with player information and session information, or do you have a Word file? How are you taking care of your metadata?
I include text files, just basic text files with appropriate information, depending on what it is. I work at a broadcast facility as well, so there's a lot of stuff that we've done out in the field. We keep documentation on how we did it. So we go back if we need to do any different mixing.
This is an example of what I typically see for documentation on most born digital projects. At least on the analog days, we had a track sheet.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true.
Well, let's talk about that for a second before we define the rest of our terms. How do you know what to keep? How do you know what to deliver to either your deep storage archival system or to your record label or wherever to the client, wherever the stuff ends up? How many of you folks are hip to this Producers and Engineers Wing document, recommendation for delivery of recorded music projects? Okay, not everybody. This is actually, George and John can probably talk about this in much greater detail, but this is something that's on the Producers and Engineers Wing website. If you go to producersandengineers.com, there are several documents there. There's guidelines for surround production, there's the delivery recommendations document, and there's also the brand spanking new digital audio workstation guidelines for music production. If the Pro Tools guidelines have been out for some time, but the workstation guidelines have just come out in the last week or two, and you can, I think there might still be some copies at the booth.
Yeah, that's not up on the website yet. There's just paper copies. It's still not completely edited, but it's ready.
Brand new. This the delivery document is also on the CD or the DVD that was in your goodie bag when you signed up. But this gives you a place to start. But